Welcome to the Science of CX podcast. Join Steve Pappas in our studio lab as he puts his 25 plus years in customer experience to the test to make your business soar, grow, and accelerate. Learn how to turn new customers into loyal followers and be on the minds of everyone in town. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned expert, you'll learn something useful in this next installment of our podcast. Now, here's Steve Pappas.
So one of the things we're going to talk about today is a common misconception in business. And I've heard this many, many times in all of the times that I've spoken at conferences and in various venues, that how different is customer experience from customer service? Well, let me be so bold to say that customer experience is much more than customer service. So let's dig into that a little bit in today's segment and talk about why customer experience is not customer service. So one of the fun aspects of living through a few decades is seeing old ideas brushed off, spiffed up, and presented as new ideas. So let's consider two companies. Let's consider Amazon on one hand and Sears on the other hand. Well, Sears rose to prominence by selling just about anything you could desire. You didn't even have to travel to a store to buy it. You could order it through the catalog and have it delivered right to your door in 3 to 6 weeks. Amazon has done the same thing. Wherever you are, you can select anything you desire and have it delivered. It's the same basic idea, yet one is now on life support and almost gone, and one is practically taking over the world. So let's think about why that is. Well, of course, the difference between Sears and Amazon are many, but of all you can name, I want to tell you that the difference boils down to customer experience for a digital world. Sears offers great customer service. This is the store that has your satisfaction guaranteed here written large over every door. And they took it very seriously. But Amazon offers a great customer experience. And the difference is extremely important. So let's investigate why customer experience is essentially much more than customer service. So let's take an example. If you bought siding for your house, customer service is marked by the workmanship of the siding installation. But what if you had to wait months for the siding to be installed? Or they showed up, stripped off the old siding, and disappeared for 2 months. And once the crew showed up, they woke you up too early as they trampled your garden and made tons of noise. The finished job might be flawless, but you'd probably rank your customer experience as less than happy. For example, research published in Temkin Group's 2018 Net Promoter Score benchmark study found enterprises were attributing average revenue increases of over $775 million to improvements in customer experience. Now, that's a very impressive amount of change. So that means that every interaction, and that means phone calls, web-based chat, mobile apps, voice-activated digital assistants like Amazon's Alexa or Apple Siri, etc., and in-person visits to brick-and-mortar businesses too, right? And then there are complicating factors to that those phone calls could be taken by artificial intelligence or humans. Those humans will surely vary from call to call, with some being highly experienced and some being new to the job. Some interactions are online, some are in stores, and the web interactions need to work on both mobile phones as well as on desktop computers. So the complications go on and on. But that's the difference between Sears and Amazon. One was built for a simpler time, and the other is equipped and was built to operate in a much more complex world. So in the old days, customers had fewer choices and fewer ways to interact with the business. Well, let's think about retail. Even if your town had multiple stores selling the same or similar items, you had one way of doing business with them. You went to the store. You usually went to the store closest to you. The distance you traveled may have been the biggest contributor to your customer experience. We'll examine that in the distance travel a little bit later. If the store was a mom and pop shop on Main Street, and I'm going way back in time now, your experience was usually optimal because if you were either doing business with the owners directly or they were directly supervising the people waiting on you, it was a much different experience. It was almost the master and the apprentice training program to make sure that every employee was doing things the same way that the owner wanted it done. If the store was in a shopping plaza or a mall, your customer experience could be enhanced by free parking, closer parking, climate control for inclement weather, better lighting, maybe music, and much more. So even if you think of pre-internet service organizations such as a travel club, you only had 2 or 3 ways to interact with them. Either the phone, maybe a store, and possibly at the mall. So in the old days, you were assured a good customer experience by having a knowledgeable person to deal with that could answer your questions and guide you through the sale. Or you had the pleasure of thumbing through a colorful catalog right in the comfort of your own home. So in short, customer experience was determined by actual physical experiences. What happens when shopping goes online? How does that change? So let's also look at how do businesses compete today. As it's disrupted everything, the internet has really complicated the attainment of excellent customer experience. There's almost no distance between you and a million choices in whatever you want. You've got many, many ways to interact. Customers now have access to global pricing and inventories. So when a company can't compete on price and product, it has to compete on something else. And that something else is the customer experience. So customer experience really delivers the sale. Price and product and availability are the components of the sale, but the experience delivers the sale. That's why customer experience, and we'll call it CX, is so important because it actually does deliver the sale, because it's practically impossible for businesses today to compete on just product, price, and availability. That's why more and more companies are figuring out how to compete on the basis of customer experience. And the digital buying experience really demands digital management of the experience. So let's illustrate. The ideal customer experience from the old to the new. The old would be physical and analog, and the new is electronic and digital. The old was a knowledgeable representative that could make the whole difference. But in the new, a knowledgeable representative can make all the difference, but now that rep is operating via more channels, and they've got to spread themselves thinner to provide that level of experience. In the old days, the experience was just that. It was an experience, and it was marked by tangible elements like lighting, music, decor, maybe the sense of smell, parking, and things like that. In the new, the experience is usually dictated by how frictionless it is. And that really means how little time or effort the customer has to go through to get something. In the old days, the access was marked by distance that they had to travel, as well as parking and maybe, a catalog and mail if they took that route. But today, access is really driven by the omni-channel, which looks at every way you could imagine that you could contact an organization. Back to the old, friendly faces and voices could even soothe or solve disappointments. Today, friendliness is nice, but what customers expect are answers to questions. They want resolutions to their problems, and they want fast and easier results. Let's talk about competition. In the old days, competition was limited. it was forcing buyers to settle for less than wonderful experiences because they might have only had one choice. Well, today, choice is much wider, so competition is nearly unlimited. It enables buyers to switch loyalties a lot easier. So how do you spot these customer experience opportunities? Well, it's easy to inventory all the ways customer experience happens in your organization, but here's a 4-step process to think about. 1, keep a pad of paper at the main phone or desk or counter or register. So on a form or a blank pad, jot down every call type, every question, every answer, every bit of praise, every complaint, every comment, inquiry, and even concerns. So if it's by phone, where did they find you? If they came in, what did they come in for? If they also came in, where did they hear about you and where did they drive from? So you should look at this every week and go over the findings with your staff to better inform them of how important the experiences are, because you'll start to see patterns develop. And now you can categorize them and create a job aid so employees can answer more quickly, can provide additional information, can maybe even answer the unasked questions. So because time has become the key determinant of customer experience, you may have to refine some of your processes to be as simple and as frictionless as possible. The next thing I tell people is take a tour yourself of the customer experience. And what I mean by that is to really see the truth of the experience you are offering, record a video of the customer's experience, almost like in the customer's eyes or in the customer's shoes. Then when you play back the video, remember how each step felt. What did you see? Was it good? Not so good. What did you hear? Was it music? Was it chatter? Was it clanking? Was it noise? What did you smell? Smells can be the most memory-inducing part of an experience. But overall, how did it feel? In a nutshell, did it feel good or not so good? This video tour doesn't have to apply to in-person visits alone. What happens when you record a phone call or a chat session? Well, here's what. All those sensory experiences that could soften the difficult customer and their experience, they harden into a voice on the phone or information on the screen. Suddenly, all that counts are the results. So just imagine the difference between the video of a Sears experience and the video of an Amazon experience. Well, for one thing, the Amazon video is a lot shorter. You were able to take care of what you needed very quickly, very easily, almost effortlessly. So how does the omnichannel change customer experience? And by omnichannel, I mean all of the different channels that people want to interact with the businesses that they want to work with. So remember how we said customer experience is every interaction by every means? Well, in today's electronic marketplace, most of those means are going to be phone calls. They're going to be maybe web-based chat. They're going to be mobile apps, or maybe they're going to be through a digital assistant like an Alexa or something like that. So those media drastically change the customer experience. So it's worth going back one more time to contrast the old days to today. In the old days, customers really sought out pleasant experiences in addition to the practical goals of obtaining a good or a service. More than pleasantness, shopping was a social event. They may have enjoyed a snack at the mall or a pleasant visit with a familiar clerk. They enjoyed being treated as special. So shopping was very much centered on relationships. Today, in an interaction taking place by phone or by computer, they naturally want to be treated well. They really want a pleasant relationship. But mainly, they want the transaction to end successfully and to end soon, because time is one of the most important commodities in today's business world. So let's say that again. It's really that important. Today, exceptional customer experience is marked by as much by how quickly it is as by how friendly it is. I mean, think of it. Amazon has patented technology to ship products to you before you order them. In a future post, I'll talk more about secrets to fast service, but let's look at these things in the future series that are coming. We'll talk about the 7 steps to superior customer experience that result in faster service. Until then, I'm Steve Pappas, your host. Thanks for joining me.
You've been listening to the Science of CX podcast with Steve Pappas. Tune in every week to learn how to outwit your competition, grow your business, and soar to new heights.